Monster RX93.1 presents Heard on Thursdays. Hot conversations on hot topics. Your host, Nikki Porter.
Welcome to the show that made Philippine FM radio talk, Heard on Thursdays on the Monster. I'm your host this evening, Nikki Porter. So we're continuing our Predictions 2024 series with guest number 3, who is no stranger to the RX studio, being a former Radio 1 student jock on the Monster when he was studying at the Ateneo de Manila University. So joining us tonight is CJ Francisco, a professional tarot reader and deck creator since 2019, who's been reading the tarot for himself since he was a kid. He still uses the tarot to help people gain a different perspective into situations so they can make better decisions moving forward. Tonight, CJ will be sharing with us his predictions for the rest of 2024 for personal readings. We're barely 2 weeks in, and it already feels like a lot has happened this year. I don't know if it's all good. Maybe when you look at the headlines or check what's trending on X, there's just so much to take in. First off, you have the Jokoy situation happening at the Golden Globes, the Epstein list, the Japan Airlines and Alaska Airlines incidents, earthquakes, small aliens in Miami, allegedly. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So things can only get better for us personally, right? So that's what we're here to hope to hear from CJ in just a bit. But before we talk to him, just a quick reminder that we are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube as well. So you can watch us on our page and channel. That's at RX931 for both. We'll also check the comments section in a little while, as well as the Monster text line at 0961-1367-931. So you can ask CJ your questions for the tarot. Don't forget, include your name and your question for the tarot this evening so that we can make things juicy tonight, for lack of a better term. Heard on Thursdays, let's welcome back to the show tarot reader and tarot deck creator, CJ Francisco.
I can't for yourself.
You can clap for
clap for
yourself.
myself.
Celebrate you. Why not? Okay. So welcome back to the show,
Thank
CJ.
you.
So nice to have you for the third time.
No, I love it. I love being
Diba?
back. So much has changed.
Oh yeah. So
much has changed.
I feel like it's leveled up. So first time you were on the show,
Sure.
it was remote during the
yeah.
pandemic. And then last year, or 2 years ago, it was here at the station, but then the setup was still, we were working on it.
Yeah.
It was still like by the booth. And then now we have leveled up once again in a talk show
I was
environment.
so
Diba? Konti na lang kailangan ng halaman. Diba? Tapos may live audience tayo. Okay, so it's been almost a year or a little bit over a year since you've been on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us some of the highlights, both good and bad, if you may, that happened for you personally in 2023.
Okay, 2023 for me was kind of wild because I went back to advertising, which I honestly thought I'd never go back to.
Right.
But I love it. Like
nice.
I found new job, new opportunity, and it was like, oh, I used to really despise doing these things, but I'm like, oh, I like it. I actually like it. So it reminded me of like, you have to give things a second chance, a second or third chance. So like you have to keep coming back and see.
Yeah, we're not talking about relationships. We're
talking about relationships. Maybe not.
Maybe some people might take it as something else. Like, I should give them another chance.
But like, yeah, so that was like my highlight. Actually, the great thing about that is that I started learning more about myself and what I liked, what I didn't like, and how to. So this year for me is like all about how am I going to improve myself in that aspect. So like when I was over the Christmas break, I was like, how am I going to improve myself for 2024, career-wise, personal life-wise, fitness-wise. So I set some goals for myself, and hopefully I can get them all sorted out.
Sorted out this year.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's so nice to hear that you gave advertising a second chance and it's working out.
It's working out.
That's great. So you're using it again, just like as another creative outlet.
Yeah. Because you mean last year it's like all about finding stability, and I found stability, and we like stability.
That's good, and it's good to find like a company that's kind of like a supportive community, and it's also like maybe there's a lot more collaboration happening and not very toxic as some agencies might be. Okay, so before we head into tarot and a bit of your background as well, as an intuitive tarot reader, let's talk about Christmas and New Year, right? Okay. So chaotic here in Manila. Traffic was crazy, but you escaped all of that.
I did.
I saw in your IG stories that you had a more laid back holiday, and honestly, when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I want to lie down in a hammock also. So you were in the province with Nanang.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us more about that.
So Nanang is my mom's yaya when my mom was like a baby, essentially when she was born.
Okay.
So she's essentially my third grandmother.
Oh,
and it was
cute.
her 80th birthday last December 23. So because my mom wasn't able to go and my brother wasn't, normally we spend summers with her, but because my brother's working, so my mom, they were like, okay, CJ, you have a Christmas break, so representative, go see her. It is her 80th. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'll spend Christmas there. So it was very, very quiet. It was so nice. Like I got to plan out my year. I got to spend time with her because 80th birthday, that's a milestone.
Yeah, of course.
I looked at all of our photos. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me as a baby. It's my mom as a baby.
That's
and
so
all our
cool.
Sisters and brothers, and I have all our families there.
I love that you're close to Nanang, and considering that Nanang is the yaya of your mom, but stayed close with the family.
Super, like they're essentially their sisters. They took care of our parents, and then the children, but they didn't have kids of their own, so we became their children, grandchildren.
That's amazing.
And we treat them as such. And all of our toys are still there. They're all scattered. I mean, no, they're all organized neatly in jars, displayed everywhere. It's a very beautiful place.
That's awesome. If you could have like one takeaway from that experience, no? Because it's like, it was such a different experience from what people in Manila were experiencing for the holidays. Like, what's one takeaway with like, being in the quiet during such a huge, momentous celebratory time?
I realized that I don't mind missing out on certain things.
JOMO.
JOMO. Yeah, exactly.
Joy of missing out.
Exactly. So when I was there, Christmas Day, I was already expecting, like, I was going to feel bummed that all my cousins are at home with the family getting money. and I'm like, oh, I'm here in the province. But then when the day came and we video called, and I was like, oh, cool, you're enjoying. I'm enjoying here too. I have my whiskey and I have Nanang and I have the cat, and I'm just like, all right, this is actually perfect. It's very quiet. I'm like, I can breathe.
That's lovely. And I feel like once in a while we should try that. Yeah. To celebrate, but not in such a loud way, but just like in a more calm, chill way, because maybe that's what our body and mind needs, not because it's what everyone else is doing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And so I love that you mentioned whiskey, because that immediately brought me to the photo that we used for the social post, because it's tarot cards, and then it's whiskey. Like is it whiskey?
It was.
Okay. Because I was like, man, I feel like it would be so cool to have like a drink while we're doing the show too. Diba? It's just like so cool, and maybe one day, who knows? We'll have that. So, but I think it's really cool to see that side. And you looked happy, by the way. You looked genuinely happy and like fresh and like in your IG stories. Kaya yung sa hammock yung naalala ko.
Sobrang chill and relaxed.
Yeah, super. So, okay. So before we get to tarot readings, again, we love the fact that you used to be on the radio and Student Jock program. Maybe that's why I keep asking you to come back. The joke. So, what made you decide again? Maybe because we are heading into the season of holding Student Jock auditions once again, and maybe in a couple months. So, what made you decide to audition for R1? Were you an outspoken person growing up, or was it something that you wanted to work on and that's why you wanted to join? Or something else?
Honestly, it was interesting because one of my friends was like, "Hey, why don't you try?" And I was like, "Okay, I have nothing to do today. Why not? Let's do it." And then, ta-da!
So you auditioned without not necessarily the expectation of like getting in, but it's like I had time.
I had time. I was like, because back in Ateneo, I didn't really have much. Well, no, I had shows. I was in Blue Rep, so the theater. And during the time, it was like a lull period.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I'm not doing anything. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about like, you know what? Just shoot your shot. Yeah. You never know what's gonna happen. And even if it doesn't work out, at least you actually tried.
At least you tried.
Right? And I think that's important. Not to make every rejection a teachable moment, but it's a redirection.
Like, I think every rejection can be a teachable moment.
Can be if you, like, maybe a few weeks after.
Not immediately immediately after, it will suck.
Yeah.
But so you'll feel like...
You can sit in that. But eventually, yes, he's right. Every rejection is eventually a teachable moment.
You'll realize later on.
Yeah. I actually was gonna ask you, parang, did you consult with the Taro if you were going to audition? No.
So, during the time, I have completely forgotten about it. So there was like a really long period.
Yes, you had
to be quiet.
Yeah, like I feel like you got back to it, but there was a time that you didn't. You weren't practicing or you weren't consulting with it at some time. So what brought you back again?
Recently?
Just to recall. No. During that time to audition for Radio 1.
Oh, wait, sorry. I got lost in the question.
No problem. Okay, so but was there a time that you forgot about Taro and kind of just let it go for a bit? Was it intentional?
It was not intentional.
It was not intentional.
Life just got busy. And like, so grade school, high school was the time when I was just like, I'm learning everything.
Yeah.
I'm memorizing everything. And then the novelty, I guess, got old, especially for a teenager. You're like, you want to learn everything. And then you're like, I'm bored of it. Next. So the other interests came in. So there was musical theater, there was costume design, stage design, schoolwork. So it kind of took a back seat. And then when everything kind of settled down, and then I came back to it in like 2016, around 2016 or 17. I got a reading from another reader, and I was like, oh yeah, I should bring out my cards again.
Yeah.
And during that reading, she was like, I don't know why, but my cards are saying to give me these to you. So I was like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, this is a brand new deck and I'm giving it to you for some reason. I'm like, cool, thank you.
That's cool. I love that it was kind of like a sign that like whoever it was in the universe, like telling you, or the cards rather, maybe were telling you, like, get back into this.
Yeah. So when she gave me the deck, I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. But it was a very difficult deck to read because it wasn't the usual imagery. So the images were very dreamlike. It was very abstract.
I see.
And then I brought it with me on my solo trip to Siargao in 2018. And then when I started, I was like, hey, can I just read for you? Like random hostel friend, can I read for you? And she's like, yeah, sure. And I start reading, start pulling out the cards. And then next thing you know, she's crying. I'm like, wait, why are you crying? And she's like, no, because that was very spot on. Like, apparently, that was exactly what she was going through at that time. And I'm like, oh, wow, maybe there is something to this. Maybe I should look into this again.
Yeah. Do you still use that deck, though? Because it sounds like there's magic in there.
It's still at home. I pull it every now and then. But I feel like there are a few decks that I'm like, okay, they're parked for now. But then sometimes when I'm in the mood, I'll be like, okay, what vibe am I feeling? What kind of energy do I want to pull? Because that one is it has a lighter, I'm gonna teach you stuff vibe. Whereas my deck, the Imaginarium one, is a very playful, very sassy, energy,
Yeah.
which I
And
normally
it's vibrant
like.
too.
It is. Thank
Yeah.
you. I place a lot of myself in it.
Yeah.
So the bubbliness.
And it's actually really cool that you were able to design. It's how many?
78.
78 cards, and you design each of them in your own way. I think
did.
that's so. I mean, man, you had a lot of time, but also, that's really cool because it's kind of like it becomes your brand too, diba?
It did.
So it's really awesome. When you learned the tarot when you were a kid, like how young were you exactly? Because I'm imagining it was a hobby when it started out, maybe, but I also want to know, how did your parents take it when they found out, or when you told them that? Because I mean, considering that we are in a religious country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I was maybe about 11 or 12 when I started getting into it. Because I remember my dad, we were in like this store in Green Hills. Have you heard of Regina's?
No.
Anyway, so there's like there, and then I remember seeing a tarot deck before, and then I kept asking, "Is there a tarot deck here? Is there a tarot deck here?" And they're like, "No, we're not carrying it anymore." Blah blah blah. And then I remember going to Fully Book and seeing like the entire shelf. Maybe it wasn't that big, but to a child, it looked massive. And I was super drawn into the art, into the artworks. And then when I tried to get one, my dad was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, go for it." My parents, neither of them had a problem. Neither did my grandmother. So they were all chill about it. So I think that also helped a lot.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was in school, the teachers were like, "This should not be in school."
It's like Magic the Gathering. You
like,
this is the devil's game.
It's the devil's work. And I'm just like, they're cards. They're pieces of paper.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, at least your family was supportive. And so now do they actually go to you for like readings?
They do not.
They don't. Okay,
They do not.
okay.
But also they're like, "Yeah, that's CJ. He'll do his thing."
They'll let you do your thing.
That's generally our rule as a family. It's like, you do your thing.
Okay. Well, at least there's that support. Now, okay, the reason why I wanted to ask that also is I wanted to know what you can say to those who are hesitant not to ask for a personal reading, to ask the tarot anything, because again, there's this common misconception, it's the occult, it's dark magic or something like that.
Yeah. Well, honestly, when you think about it, this is your subconscious tapping into it. So what happens is when a reader is, reading, they are essentially picking up from your energy and the symbolisms that are there. So you're basically taking it with a grain of salt, obviously, but also think of it as the second opinion of someone else. Like when you're talking to a friend, obviously you're not going to take all their advice all the time. And that's the same with the tarot. You're like, okay, this is working for me. That's not. I feel like I can learn something from this and learn something from that. You don't have to feel scared because, again, it's not set in stone. Like all these things are not going to be like, this all happened. No, you have your choice. You can make those decisions for yourself.
Yeah, it kind of just taps you in a particular direction. If it's in a direction that you're already leaning on, which you don't really realize until you have like a second opinion, which is the tarot. Sometimes it happens, diba? The parents like they just want the double confirmation, like what they're doing is the right thing to do.
Sometimes when I read for myself and I'm like, I'm hoping for this answer. I'm like, hopefully the cards say the same thing. And then the cards are going to be like, they're not going to give a straight answer to me because my cards, again, are very sassy towards me. And they're like, it's not going to give me a straight answer. And I'm like, again. And then like, it still won't. And like, again, same question. And then when it gets annoyed, it'll just be like, here is a completely yes answer, a completely no answer. Stop asking me this question.
It's so interesting that you say that your cards are sassy. Like, I'm so curious, like how do you mean? Like, how does it come off? So give me an example of an actual reading. Maybe you don't have to name a person, or can be it can be someone
personal.
It can be personal.
For me, when I do my own readings, I feel like because there are certain cards that are leaning towards particularly stronger emotions. So, like for example, if it's, let's say, the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is usually this is gonna hurt. It's something that you need to learn from. It's an emotionally charged card. So if you get that, it's like, fine, I'll process my emotions. I'll deal with these issues. Fine, okay. But also I think it's how, how when you're reading a book, you have
like
your
a narrator voice.
You have a narrator voice.
You have Morgan Freeman in your head or something.
So sometimes you can hear that vibe. So I think it also depends on the illustrations of the deck, which is why mine kind of looks like that. But there are other decks that feel very more reserved, more regal, more motherly. So those are the narration in your head is sort of, well, at least for me, it bases off of the illustrations on the deck.
Gotcha. Now I'm actually okay. Now I want to ask, if your tarot had a voice of an actor or any celebrity, who would it be? So at least we can picture. Okay, who is the sassy person?
I'd want to say, Adore Delano.
Adore Delano.
RuPaul's Drag Race, or generally any.
I was actually thinking, is this RuPaul? I feel like it's gonna sound like RuPaul.
Very, very Drag Race, but not some of them. But some of the cards generally sound more bubbly. I don't know who's a bubbly personality.
It's a bubbly personality.
Someone who's always, but the vibe of my cards is always just energetic, playful, like very, let's go, let's do this, let's make it have joy from inside out. Joy from inside out.
There we go. I love it. So these were kind of imagining, how these tarot sound. If it's regal, you said like some tarot decks sound more regal and some more reserved. Yeah, like Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you get that vibe from the illustrations, I suppose. At least for me, that's how I understand the world.
Okay, gotcha.
From the visuals.
There. So tarot has a voice, apparently, depending on the visuals also on the deck. So now let's try and head into our first batch of readings.
Let's go.
For our Imaginarium Tarot. Imaginarium Tarot, by the way, is created by CJ Francisco. So if you guys want to see, he has a social media page. He has an Instagram page, Imaginarium
Tarot.
There we go. If you guys want to see the designs as well, and where they can inquire to do personal readings.
Yes.
Awesome. So outside, if you guys want a more in-depth, it's the start of the year, so it can be like do you do like year?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Like a reading for the year, birthday.
Yes.
Ayun.
So it's like the whole I have options, like you could do like the whole 78 cards.
Yes.
Which is like a 2-hour reading, but you can also just do like the light 1 card per month situations.
A 2-hour reading.
It's a lot. So we talk about everything. So we go from your career, your love life, relationships, your problems, what to look out for in those particular quarters. So it's the whole thing.
So if I were to do a reading like that, it's like two episodes of Heard on Thursdays.
Yeah, it's 2 episodes.
A part 1 and a part 2. Okay, but you monsters are not going to find that out. Anyway. Okay, so let's do let's do a batch of personal readings. So I think this one is from Rob Rubin.
He's my mentor.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, he is asking for his love life for 2024.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Putting me on the spot there.
He was also on the show last year for, was it mid-year reading? Yeah. That was pretty fun, too. That was brutal, but it was fun. Rob.
I love Rob.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that honesty.
Rob. Wait,
Ooh.
Can you see it? Oh, wait. I think it's better if we...
Yarn. Wait,
Where?
Here. There we go.
Okay. And... Okay. Yeah, sorry. Middle situation.
I got you.
It's
There we
okay.
go.
Rob. Okay, so love life this year seems a little bit chaotic for you, but also I feel we already know that. But 7 of Swords, I think you want to look out for who really does have your best intentions in mind and who you feel isn't really having anything to hide from you. Ace of Wands, maybe there are a lot that will come into your life But also the Five of Wands seems, again, a bit chaotic for yourself. Like, ooh, is this what I really want to happen? But again, I keep coming back to the Seven of Swords, which feels like, gotta look out for you. Look out for yourself first.
Okay, look out for yourself. But maybe, I guess it's also like enjoy getting to know people, prospects.
Enjoy the moment, enjoy the people you're with, but also like look out for those red flags. Look out for those red flags because we don't want to we don't want to waste our time with people who are not green flags.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, Rob, for sending in your question. Ella is asking, what is her financial situation for this year? What does it look like for this year? I feel like that is an important question to ask.
Yeah, it's very, very important, especially at the start of the year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
When we're just recovering from the Christmas shopping.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to look at my credit card bill.
Same.
Actually, I think it's maxed out. That's why I don't want to look at it.
Ooh. Okay.
Am I allowed to flip these over?
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just keep it there.
Okay, cool.
The way it is. I feel like your finances seem to be fine. You've got the Hermit, which is essentially you looking towards what makes sense for you. I think now is a good time for you to really evaluate what you want to focus on, where you want to invest your money in, where you want things that make sense to you, essentially. Now, your 10 of Cups in reverse might be a bit more, let's look towards your future, what brings you happiness, but don't make it like oh, this is on sale and it's gonna bring me happiness. Let's focus on more long-term situations.
Gotcha.
Looking at the Page of Cups as well, I think that's also talking about your impulsivity. Let's not be, it goes hand in hand, I suppose, with the 10 of Cups, where let's not be too impulsive. It's nice to be excited about things, especially when money comes in, but know how to restrain yourself a little bit more. And I guess coming back to the Hermit, let's make things make sense for you. Make sure that you're financially capable and stable enough. Don't be too impulsive.
So maybe if you already have like a budget tracker,
keep to that budget.
Yeah, keep to that budget. And yes, don't be impulsive. I think that's a lesson for many of us.
It's a lesson for everyone.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Ella, for that question. Next, we have Gail, who wants to know the outlook for her career. Muna, or can you combine like career and love life?
Question? Let's go for career.
Okay.
First.
So 2 readings. Oh, lucky girl.
Because sometimes they are not really mutually exclusive.
Yeah. It's just it's okay. I think it's better to do separate readings for that too.
Yeah. Wait, what was the first question?
Career. Outlook on her career this year.
Career. Okay, it looks like there's a lot of change that's going to be happening for you. The Tower is, again, usually about unexpected things making your life kind of turn around, but it's usually for the better. The hesitation there was because it's like, it's gonna be a challenge for you for sure, because change again is always uncomfortable. It's always like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Right.
But Knight of Wands, it feels like the energy that you want to focus on is, let's make this happen. What is my passion? What makes sense for me? How can I make my passions, my skills, like how do I move them forward? And how do I use it for my career's growth? And how do you be more focused?
There.
Now, with the 7 of Pentacles, this also kind of reminds you to like wait it out. Like, yes, you are go, but you also want to make sure that you are setting your foundation strong enough. And there will be a long waiting period for you, I suppose, but don't give up, especially when things start to feel like they're unsettled. You're like, okay, let things happen the way it needs to. Just continuously push for what you feel makes sense, and then eventually they'll all fall into place.
Yeah, plant the seeds
and then
Trust the process.
Plant the seeds, trust the process, and grow where you are planted.
Okay, and then the second reading is Love Life for 2024. The Tower card is always such a scary thing for those who, I guess, for those who are familiar with tarot, not necessarily, what's this, our tarot readers, but sometimes it's like what I've observed, especially for me also when I see the Tower card, it gives you a little bit of hesitation. It's like, no, because it's like a burning tower, literally. And then so it's like it's kind of depicted in a negative way, but then the Tower moment, I feel like it's something that's not always a bad thing, but the outcome is always for your betterment.
Yeah. Honestly, the Tower card, I used to be afraid of it and despise it. But then, like every time it pops out, I'm like, oh, how am I gonna tell people this? You're gonna have a really hard time. But honestly, it's a breakthrough moment. It's like those moments when you're in those challenging situations, when your life feels like it's crumbling.
Yeah.
And then when you start, not in the moment, but when you start picking yourself back up, you're like, I feel stronger than I was before. I feel more empowered. I know that the reason why this thing failed or it didn't really work out is so that I can be redirected into something else and something better. And now you're like, okay, I know why that happened, but it sucked at the time.
I know. Oh my gosh. So yes, trying to shift now my relationship with the Tower card moving forward.
So love life.
Love life for Gail in 2024.
Look at the Three of Swords. Okay.
But it's in reverse.
But it's in its reverse.
Yeah.
So I feel like there may be some challenges with your love life. There may be some emotional things that you'll have to deal with, that you'll have to process and figure out. And then you can only figure that out with the Hermit, which means you have to figure it out on your own. So I feel like these issues and things that you are going to be confronting have to be done, internally, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you are with a partner, you have to be able to make sure that you can communicate both all your emotions, what it is that you want for yourself, for each other, if you are in a relationship. Now, the reason why the Ace of Swords is here now is you want to get a higher perspective. So the challenge, and I feel like this is very Tower moment as well. The moment the Ace of Swords pops out, it's telling you to get a different perspective, a higher perspective, a different way of looking at things. So that maybe if you've been avoiding the emotional confrontations, maybe it's now time for you to actually address them and make sure that everything's all smoothened out.
There we go. So kind of a Tower moment.
But you'll be fine. It's just you have to get your head in a different perspective.
Oh, there we go. And that's the Hermit for you.
That's the Hermit.
Spend time on your own for a little bit. All right. So thank you, Gail. We'll do one more for this first batch. We got Nasha, who is asking, what is her career outlook for 2024?
Career outlook for 2024.
It's either career or love or money. Usual questions.
Wait, what was it? Career, right?
Career for 2024.
Okay, so career for 2024, you might want to start looking again into your long-term situation. Like, where do you really see yourself staying in this company for a while, for a really long time? That's actually what I'm getting from the Ten of Pentacles. Now, from the Two of Swords, I feel like there seems to be a decision that's been weighing heavily on you, and you're like at a crossroads. You're not really sure what you want to do, where you want to proceed. But a good idea here now is to really sit with yourself and process, okay, is this really where I want to be? Is this where I want to grow? Now the Star is also here, and it says, okay, I feel like where you want to bring this to is where your passions actually lie. Where do you feel that you are valued, where you feel you are excelling, where you feel the most powerful? So if your current company makes you feel that way, maybe it's a good idea to stay. But if not, maybe it's a good idea to, look for other places where you feel more appreciated.
And plays into her strengths?
Yeah, play into your strength.
All right. There we go. Nasha, thank you very much for sending in your questions, you guys. That's just the first batch. We're going to do maybe 2 more batches. So feel free to send in your name and your reading, or your question rather, for your tarot reading with CJ Francisco. So, okay, while you're reshuffling your deck, I would like to know, have you already done your own reading for this year?
I keep.
Do you always do that like on the first or something?
I don't. I keep putting it off. there is a reminder on my phone where it's
okay.
do the reading, or actually journal. And that's usually when I do it. But I'm like, busy. Well, not really. More of like, I'm making excuses for myself.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. It's like, are you?
I'm not
you're
really
busy talaga,
well,
or like
now
you're intentionally delaying?
But I'm intentionally delaying.
Well, why? What's the fear? It's just that you don't want to know what it's gonna say.
The fear, not that I don't want to know. It's more of like, I keep forgetting.
Okay, noted.
But no, I will probably do it, because I remember the other day I was like, I'm gonna do like the 12-month month preview situation for myself. And like, maybe I should post it as well on my IG page, and I got distracted and then I forgot about it.
When you do a 12-month reading, is it just 1 card per month?
Yeah. So like it's the theme for the month, or something that you want to look out for in that particular month.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. So if you guys want like a 12-month reading while it's still January, then hit up CJ at Imaginarium Tarot. Yes. So that you can do that whole year reading. Or if any other reading that you want, birthday, ano pa ba?
Birthday, yeah, a quick, if
birthday,
you want like a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead. Hit them up over there so that you can get. I actually did.
You did.
I did a reading with CJ last year, and it was actually pretty cool. It was actually pretty cool the way I think that's the first actual reading that I asked from someone. So I was like,
I'm honored.
That's pretty cool. So okay. So you haven't done your reading for the year yet. But could you name other instances in which you consulted with your tarot for like maybe a major decision that you had in life?
So going back to last year, when I actually did send in my resume and corporate situation, advertising again, I was like, I should ask my cards. I should. So like, I went through this whole, this makes sense. But also, most likely if I go back into advertising, I won't have time to do art, to do tarot, to do any of the things that I want, because it's the nature of the business.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging. And when I pulled out the cards, it was like, it's going to be stressful. The tower is there, most likely. You're gonna change everything that you've been so used to. But then I was like, oh, I'm scared. But then, no one really grows from not stepping out of the comfort zone. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm taking this leap of faith again. Let's go back into it. And honestly, it was a tower moment for sure, because I was so used to freedom, being in the beach, controlling my own time. But then the anxiety that it brought me from like, oh, I need to get this gig, do this thing, paint this mural. It's fun. Like, I got to really hone my artist and tarot reader muscle. But then I had so much anxiety of like, oh my gosh, when am I gonna, do I have enough for the rent this month? And the usual things. I'm like, I need something more stable so that I can give myself, like, I'll take off the pressure from the tarot and the art so that it can just be its own thing, and I won't have to put so much pressure on it.
Yeah, that's true. That's
when you put pressure on it, it's like it becomes like I resisted it for a bit. Like, oh my gosh, I need to read because, or I need to create an artwork because I need to. But I'm now like, oh, because I want to.
Yeah,
I have the space for it.
Yeah, to have like to give it that space kind of makes it less transactional, no?
Yeah.
It's like you need to make money, you need to do more readings, you need to put yourself out there more.
And when at one point it was like, oh, I have to do like X amount of readings, X amount of artworks, and I was like, it became a job. It became a job that I'm like, that I mean, I still give my 100%, but I'm like, ooh, pressure.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you were able to find, or you were able to focus on stability last year, and you got it, and then now at least like there's less pressure, and I feel like your tarot deck can breathe a little bit now.
It can breathe just fine.
Is it less sassy now, or is it
no, it's still just as. It's still just as.
Okay, so I never asked you this question. What is your favorite card on your tarot, and then also your least favorite?
Okay, my favorite artwork would definitely be the King of Cups. Interestingly enough, that was the very last card that I drew. And during the time when I was illustrating it, I saw myself as a merman. So this card was like, it wasn't intentional that was going to be my last card. I was like, it was supposed to be the first batch that I was going to draw and illustrate, but it just so happened I was like, you know what, let's move this to the last without even thinking about it. And when I was illustrating the last card, I was like, oh my God, it's the King of Cups. This is me. I'm the merman. I'm this guy. I will find him. Oh, there he is. Right there.
My gosh. That's so cool.
So I was like, okay, yep, I'm going to give myself some abs.
So cool.
During the time, I was like, I became daddy. I saw myself as a mermaid daddy. But also during the time, I did have purple and blue hair, long purple and blue hair.
Was this when you were in Shargo?
Yeah. Which faded to white, blonde, but it's fine. So that's my most favorite because there's so much detail in it. I'm not sure if it can be seen on the chart.
There we go.
Let's zoom in a little bit. There we are.
Love it. So
like the individual scales were like, I took, I think, 12 hours drawing this.
How big did you design these?
It
like
was.
Is it like an A4 or like a?
No, I cut it to size, so I think it was like 6 inches or 5 inches by 8 or something, or 6 by something, but 6 by 4, I think.
Okay,
if I remember correctly.
Interesting.
My favorite card though is the Hermit. Funnily enough.
Interesting.
Because it's my significator card. So Rob taught us how to find your significator card. It's like which card do you feel like this is you? Which one is your shadow? And then the one that's in the middle that's who you actually are. And when I got this, I was like, that's not me. I am not a hermit. I'm such a people person. And then the more I sat with it, the more I started, you know what? I think I am the hermit. I like my own space. I mean, I pop out I go into people's lives every now and then, but people don't really see me.
Okay.
Which, unintentionally.
Kind of like a hermit crab. It just like pops out randomly and then goes back into its little hole.
Now, my least favorite card, I think, based on meaning, honestly, I think it might be this. It'll be the 5 of Cups. Because the 5 of Cups actually talks about being in victim mode. And I tend to do that a lot. And I feel like a lot of people tend to do that to themselves as well. Where like you replay the story in your head of like, oh, I did this and that, and then you're embarrassed, and then you feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah, and also we like to blame others also for our own shortcomings.
Yeah.
Interesting. So 5 of Cups is your least favorite.
One of my least favorites.
One of your what would be like another one? Apart from the Tower, I guess.
The Tower I ended up falling in love with.
Oh, okay, that's right. You used to dislike it.
Oh yeah, of course. How can I miss you? 10 of Swords.
That looks painful.
It looks painful, but more of an illustration wise is what I'm talking about here. Is because when I was illustrating this, I'm pretty sure you can see it. The reference, Spirited Away. If you can see it.
Okay.
But when I was painting it, I wasn't sure what color because I didn't want to make it black because it was too on the nose. And then I apparently just got red. And when I finished it, I was like, it looks like a flayed person.
Oh no.
So I'm like, Okay, sure. I mean, it goes with the theme of
Mm-mm.
pain and sorrow and uncomfortableness.
It looks brutal, actually.
Yeah. And then, I'm like, okay, I guess that it made sense.
It's the theme.
It's the theme of the card.
Exactly. All right. So hopefully, so yeah, you can shuffle the deck again, and hopefully that doesn't show up any of those least like cards in this next batch of readings. So once again, ask the question and provide your name as well, so that you can get a consult with the tarot tonight with CJ Francisco. I'm looking at my phone for the readings. Okay, we are working as we go. So, all right. Next reading is from Mitch. What can I expect? I guess what is for me this 2024?
What is for you for 2024? It's
all right. So interesting to find out different ways how this year is going to turn out.
Okay, so what can you expect for 2024?
These look nice.
Yeah. So let's. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, the Page of Pentacles will always be. Oh yeah, one of my favorite cards as well. But it's always about new opportunities and not being afraid to seize those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And especially since opportunity is not a lengthy visitor, you gotta grab it as quick as you can. And Four of Wands says, whatever that opportunity is, it feels like people are going to be celebrating you and that decision that you've made. So if it feels like you want to take a next step somewhere, you want to grow something, you want to make something happen, it feels like now's that time, especially if that opportunity presents itself, say yes.
There we go.
With Temperance here, it's a reminder for you to just, chill out. Balance yourself, always remain true to who you are and what your center is. So I suppose when that opportunity comes up, you just got to be chill about it.
All right. Well, there you go, Mitch. That's what you can expect. New opportunities. And then the possibility of people celebrating your achievements for this year. So take more chances, Mitch. Next, we have Barnes asking, what is my career reading for 2024?
Barnes and Noble.
Right? Do you have a friend? A sibling?
Okay. Career? Okay. So it feels like things are looking good. Career-wise, you're chill. Nine of Cups normally talks about being in that positive space where everything is working out.
Yeah.
Everything, you see your accomplishments, you know your worth, you know how good you actually are in what you do. So relax. Three of Cups feels like a really good environment that you're in. People are on the same wavelength. You have people sharing the same ideas, values with you. So pretty good. And with the Seven of Pentacles, again, like earlier, it feels like there is a support system there for you. But again, it's everyone's putting in the work that needs to be done for this particular goal. So teamwork seems to be a really big headline, I suppose, in your career. Work well with your team and know how good you actually are and how much you're able to contribute into what you're doing.
There we go. All right, Barnes, hope you got that message. And then we have PL Nikki. I'm not sure what PL stands for. Prayer leader. I'm not sure. But anyway, okay, Nikki, not me, is asking. Oh, actually, this is the quote. My love life, but sige, shouldn't be my priority right now. So sige, career muna. So we can do two readings for her.
Why not? Sige, so career muna.
All righty.
I love that there was a disclaimer.
There was a conflict in her head. I know I want to do love life, but let's focus on career. So, I feel that.
Okay, career-wise, two Suits of Wands. For me, the Suits of Wands always talks about passion and your drive and having the King of Wands there makes me feel like you have a particular vision of where you want to bring your career to, where you want this where you want your career to go this year. So you're like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. I want my growth to be leading into this particular direction. So because you have that vision, you also want to be able to execute it well. Now you have the Page of Wands. With the Page of Wands, this is more about, yes, you're following your passion, you're letting yourself move in your with your work, with your career, but not being too gigil about it. Like, you'll let things happen, sure, but you're not like, it has to be this way. You're like, you'll go with the flow, essentially. And what I love about the Ace of Pentacles being here is new opportunities will pop up. There is something that might, surprise you this year with your career. And I think maybe that's also why this new vision of where you want to bring things is going to go, because of that new opportunity.
Okay, there we go. So that is the reading for your career. And so let's focus on your actual priority. Let's not kid ourselves.
Let's see.
What is your love life, Nikki, for 2024? Not me. I'm not putting my energy on these cards.
Okay, so for you, Nikki, not you, Nikki. But
yeah, not
Nikki,
me.
I think your love life situation might be a bit more focused into yourself. Maybe if you are in a relationship, I think this is a really good time for you to bring back focus into refilling your own cup. So what the Queen of Cups in its reverse form feels like is more about what usually you are giving yourself. You're like, okay, I'm going to pour out all of my emotions because I will love and support you. I'll love bomb you and whatever. But no, this is more time for you to reel it back in for yourself, because you need to have a bit of yourself, love for yourself some more.
Right.
With the Ten of Pentacles naman, it's more about where, again, always long term, but are you looking at things, I want to say sustainably, but like how, if you are in a relationship, what are the actions that you're going to take to make things aligned and make sense for the long run? Now, with Strength in reverse, this feels more like you have to be a bit more assertive. Yes, you are kind to yourself. Yes, you are kind to people, but you need to start setting your boundaries, because if you don't, maybe people will walk all over you. You want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
So that's your focus for this year.
There we go. So set boundaries and spend time to yourself. Give yourself the love that you keep giving to everyone else.
I love that.
Right. That's an overarching
Porter
theme.
2024.
I'm doing that now. I'm practicing that now. That's why I knew when I saw it, I was like, those are my cards last. Just kidding. Now it's time to go out. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So we have a couple more readings, but before we get to those for our final round, I actually do want to bring attention to CJ being a sigil artist. So just to refresh everyone's memory, what is a sigil, CJ?
So a sigil is a magical symbol, usually created with a particular intention in mind. So what I do, the sigils that I create are part that and part life story, because I love telling stories. I love telling people stories. And again, as a visual person, I love translating people's stories into artworks. So what happens is when people ask to commission me, I have like these list of 5 or 6 questions that help me get to know who you are a little bit. And then from there, like some people give me symbols that they want to include, and I'm just like, okay, I'll try to incorporate as much of this as I can. It's always a nice creative exercise, because it's like, I want everything to look different, to look unique, to not be the same over and over again. So each piece is unique, and each piece tells people's life stories. And that's what I love about it.
And you always start like in a straight line.
Straight line down the center.
Is that a rule when doing sigils, or is that just your style?
I think that's just me. That's just like, I like symmetry. I like things balanced. Also, I guess because as a Libra.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tend to have that straight line down the center. It used to just be the guide and I'd erase it before, and then I'm like, huh, that seems to have been my style. It seems to be my reoccurring thing, that and like the dots on top and below.
And if you guys are curious, if you guys want to shift the camera down to the table, like where we drop the tarot cards, actually it's a sigil.
Yes,
there we go. That's CJ. That's your sigil.
This is one of my first sigils I actually did, and the mantra that I had with this was like, my magic is light and love. And it wasn't even supposed to be the logo of the Imaginarium. It was just like, it's so sketchy, because it was just like a sketch on my notebook. I'm like, take a picture. Okay, this is a placeholder.
Yeah.
And when the moment I placed it on the deck, I was like, that's the logo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was like, okay, I guess I made it. And it kind of worked out by chance, because my magic is light and love. You've got the little star here and the heart, but
That's
also
cool.
it looks like a mermaid tail, which again, I resonate with mermaids.
Again, with a mermaid, with the merman. I love it though. And also for those who have commissioned sigil artwork from you, like, is it some or most that end up being tattoos?
Most of them, actually.
I love that.
It's all on my Instagram. It's actually so cute, because when I see it online, it's great. It's cool.
Yeah.
But recently, I actually saw one at a party at Seltsam, and I was like, hey, I recognize that. I recognize the swirl on the arm. And then I approached this girl, and I was just like, I recognize this. It's my sigil. I did this. And then she's like, oh my God, you're CJ.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I love that.
Yeah. And then we had like a really good chat after. It was like, it was wild.
Yeah. How does it feel like seeing your artwork like on people's bodies, like as a tattoo that is permanent?
It honestly, I feel so honored and like speechless. It's like people trust me enough to have me tell their stories, allow me into their lives, and then create this something that's so deeply meaningful to them that will be on them forever.
That's pretty amazing.
At first, there was a lot of pressure, especially when I started out. I was like, am I even good enough to do this, to tell this story? You know, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And then later on, when I started, it's always about the heart and the effort that you're putting out. So I'm just like, I'm not like half-baked anything. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to pour myself into this. I'm going to let my intuition and my art speak for itself, and trust that the reason why people are asking me to do this for them is because they see something good in me and they see something that they like.
Yeah.
And I just have to continuously remind myself to trust that.
Yeah. But again, it's just really cool to have your own unique sigil, which is like your life story also, to have it on your body. Because there are people who just like see something maybe on Pinterest, something on Instagram, and they're like, I want that somewhere in my body. Whereas you have a sigil that is uniquely yours. It's like what do you call this? A fingerprint, I guess, of your life. But then it's created by somebody, and it's only for you, and no one else can copy it. Someone from another country or another part of the world might, and they'd be like, that looks cool, I want that on my body. But then it's not their story.
It's funny because some people have actually done that. What? And they've actually tagged me with my page and everything. Like, hi, I took your art, I tattooed it on myself. And I was like,
oh my God.
Okay, but also that's not really your story. But like, whenever people do that, I am flattered still, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's gonna be on them permanently. But also, like, every time I post my the sigils on my Instagram page, I already asked permission from the owner, the one who commissioned it, because I'm like, if the moment it's there, nothing's stopping people from just lifting it and putting it on themselves.
That's right.
And my clients already know that, and they're like, it's fine. Your work needs to be seen. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
That's great. I mean, it's just I think that's the purpose of talking about sigils here also. If you do see like a sigil of that's in the form of a tattoo, just remember that it's uniquely someone else's. If you want a unique sigil, you know who to reach out to. You do have what a poll.
I know.
You have CJ over here who would be more than happy to create a unique sigil for you. So before we end the show, let's do one final round of personal reading. So let me grab my handy dandy note phone. Okay, so Tim is asking career outlook for 2024 and also what can I expect for 2024? What do you want to start with?
Why don't we start with what can you expect?
Okay.
Because that might lead to career.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. So feel free to keep sending in those questions and your name as well on the text line 0961-1367-931 or through the comment section of our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch channels in which we are live streaming our Heard on Thursdays episode predictions 2024 tonight.
All right. Well, what can you expect for 2024? It feels like you might want to take a break for this this year. Not necessarily like a long break, but more of like take a step back from whatever it is that you've been working so closely on the previous year. Maybe learn how to set your boundaries, reset yourself, get ready for the next level situation. But it feels like with the Nine of Wands, it's more about taking that breather seriously. Now with the High Priestess, it's more about trusting your intuition a little bit more, making you feel a bit more connected to yourself again, and stop doubting yourself. Now with the Ace of Swords, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's about changing your perspective, but also maybe it's a good idea to start, kind of contradictory, but looking into the details of what things are. If this is like take a step back and take a break, but also come back into looking at the smaller details. So I think that might actually lead to the career question.
Okay.
So let's whip out those cards now as well. Oh, opportunity.
There we go.
It is not seen. Let's move them down. Okay, so career-wise, it does feel like a shift is happening in your career. Judgment usually talks about what is it that's coming. Are you ready for that next chapter, I suppose? But it feels like there is still a lot of hesitation from you, which is why it's like, I'm not sure if I should move forward, I should not. Page of Pentacles feels like that opportunity that you should have said yes to is still there, but it's like, it's you gotta seize it when you can. So maybe that's also why the hesitation is there. You're like, am I really ready for this? No one's ever really ready for anything.
Right.
You just gotta jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also what the Knight of Cups says. It's like, yes, you have your ideal situation. You have your this perfect mindset that you have, but you have to sometimes just jump in it and go with the flow. So yeah, that makes sense with these things. So all these cards are essentially saying, just trust your instincts a little bit more. Don't be afraid of yourself, and don't be afraid of that little voice in your head that's saying, no, you can't do it. No, shush him.
Yeah, imposter syndrome.
Shush him.
You're a victim of that. All of us. So Tim, hopefully that helped. We have Mark Edward up next asking his outlook on career and health for 2024. Is this 2 readings also? Or okay.
Why not?
Cool.
Career, health. Let's not. Health is doctor. Always choose healthy choices.
Okay.
But also see their doctor if you feel anything's wrong.
Right, of course.
So career, looking again, like possibly growth. You are in alignment. You are in the place where you feel you can grow most. You've got the 3 of Pentacles there where you are growing where you need to. The support system is there. Things make sense. Certain structures make sense. 8 of Wands, you are aligned. You are in your element, and it feels like everything that you're working on just keeps on going. Now with the Ace of Pentacles, now I feel like, yes, it may be new opportunities that are there, but more about like new opportunities for you to grow where you are at. Not necessarily like, oh, a new job. It's more of like, you're here, you are in the right space. So grow where you're planted.
Yeah.
Grow where you're planted.
There we go. Okay. So, will you still do a reading for health or not really?
Let's
It's just like
let's
something.
just say, you
Let's
know
just say,
what? You focus on your
all right, but
fitness
don't
goals.
forget these are just, you don't have to take these to heart once again, especially when it concerns health. If you feel like there is something that you need checked, if you
Please
feel like
see
there's
the
something
doctor.
wrong, then go ahead and do a doctor's consult. Seek advice from a medical professional.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, you know what? Last year, actually, one of my goals for myself was I wanted to take care of myself physically and mentally. So I did more physical activities and actually like worked on my mental health. And I'm like, yes.
That's great. I love that. And I feel like everything fell into place
Everything
also.
did.
That's awesome.
Why did I put that out?
All right. Nearing the end of the show, Monsters. Thank you, by the way, to everybody who has been tuned in, locked in, whether you're watching a live stream online or on radio as well. Super appreciate it. If you guys want to catch the next episode, we might do one more predictions episode next week. So stay tuned for that. For now, if you have any readings, you know what to do. Hit us up on the text line or through our comment section at RX931 during this live stream.
Who were your previous guests?
My previous, okay, so our first one was for Predictions 2024. It was Resty Santiago. He's the Filipino astrologer, so it was more medieval astrology. It was really looking at the placement of the stars. And then also last week we had Marky Mendoza.
Marky.
Yes, he is also a tarot reader, but then he also focused on numerology this time. So we all had our predictions for 2024 in terms of numerology. So it was a very also detailed, like Marky sent me mine for this year. So I was like, all right, new beginnings. Okay.
New beginnings.
Okay, Marky. And then now we have you.
And me.
All right. So let's see. For Mark Edward, what is your health going to look like this year? Dong, dong.
Health in what way?
Exactly.
But again, make sure you make better decisions.
Right. Make healthy choices.
Yeah, I don't want to answer a health question.
Okay,
People
no
might
problem.
misinterpret.
No problem. Okay, so but we did inquire with regard to his career.
Yeah.
For Iris, what is the theme of the year? And also, I feel like this person knows you. They said, CJ, you brought life to our home.
I painted a mural in their home.
There, also a mural artist. Commission him for artwork, you guys. He's amazing. I've seen it on his IG stories too. Yes, I love that.
Okay, so theme of the year. I figured she has such a unique name.
Iris.
So I was like, yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty name actually.
Let's see. Theme for the year. Okay, so Four of Swords. I feel like theme of the year for you is taking a step back, checking in on your mental health, knowing when to take a pause and take a break, when it is time to reset yourself, essentially. Now, Ace of Wands, it feels like this year is, again, time for you to reel back that energy. Whatever it is that you've been giving out the past couple of years, actually last year, might be a good idea to slow down a little bit. And I think that's also why the Hermit is here as well. Again, slow down. Theme of the year for you is to just chill, relax, take your time, breathe, make decisions that make sense for you.
All right. I feel like for a lot of people, the Hermit has come out.
Yeah.
Today. Okay. So, Iris, hopefully you have taken note of what your theme will be for this year. And for Camille, career after graduation. Maybe what is her career trajectory after graduation? Congratulations.
Also, congratulations in advance.
That's awesome. Entering the workforce.
I love that the 8 of Pentacles came out. Okay, so Eight of Pentacles is always about learning. It's always about honing your skills. So I suppose career-wise, it's gonna be a lot of, well, obviously, because it's gonna be the start, your journey into the working world.
Yeah.
You're going to start realizing and learning that whatever it is that you learn in college is very different from the real world, because you're going to be dealing with so many other things. One thing you might want to look out for is find a mentor who you can trust. So whatever career that you're going to be part of, find that person who is going to help you out, and learn from them. Learn from their mistakes, learn from their knowledge, so that you can be better equipped. Now, the Six of Swords is here. It usually means a transition. Well, obviously, transition into another chapter of your life. But you also want to remember to leave behind excess baggage, things that maybe ideas that you've had of like, oh, the job that I'm going to be doing, it has to be this and only this. It has to be this particular way. Sometimes that's not necessarily going to work out for you if you are boxing yourself in. And I think the reason when we box ourselves in, and this is what the Four of Cups actually refers to, is when we're always so focused on what we want to happen. I mean, it's great to have a particular direction in our mind and a particular goal.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's not necessarily what will be given. So you have to be open to seeing potential in other opportunities as well. Like, it might not necessarily be that dream job that you wanted, but think of it as a stepping stone.
Right. That's very true. Sometimes the job that you actually find most joy and passion in might be something that you least expect to. It could be. But, who knows? Who knows, really? So, Camille, hopefully this has given you a little bit of direction in terms of how your career is going to look like after graduation. Once again, congratulations. And congratulations to CJ for making a third appearance.
Well, thanks for inviting me again. A third time.
Yes, of course. So fun to have you here. We will, you can do my reading off air. I don't want to lay it all for everybody to see. But anyway, thank you once again, CJ, for taking the time this month, this new year, also to help people find out what to expect for this year. And hopefully you will not forget also to do your own reading.
You know what? I'm going to do that tonight when I get home.
Okay. So for all you monsters who have been listening on radio and also on air, on live stream, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and also on radio, thank you very much for keeping us company over here. And if you guys want more readings from CJ, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Imaginarium Taro and at cjfrancisco.designs, both on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, if you want sigils or commissioned artwork, there we go. Hustle this
Hustle
year.
2024.
There we go. So with that, we end Heard on Thursdays this January 1/11.
Oh, look at that.
And it started at 11.
And it started
I'm just saying. Okay.
Angelic number.
There we go. So maybe that means something for you. Take that however you want. So anyway, thank you very much for keeping us company for now. Keep it locked only here on The Monster. Bye.
Yeah.
Monster exclusive interview. Monster exclusive interview. Only from Manila's hottest. Monster RX93.1.